My name is Andrea. I'm a 3-time surrogate, and I also am a pediatric nurse as well. For my family, I'm married and I have 2 kids, a 7-year-old, no, I'm sorry, she's 8, an 8-year-old daughter, and a 6-year-old son. I chose to be a surrogate because I personally had friends that were dealing with infertility. And so I offered, I'm like, I will gladly carry a child for you. But they decided that just kids weren't their thing and that they were okay with that. And so since I already had the mindset that I wanted to do it, I was like, well, I might as well help other people. So I went online and found Surrogate First. So I didn't really know much about surrogacy. I just had it in my heart that I wanted to help people. So I didn't know any of the qualifications, nothing. So I actually applied the first time and I did not make it because my BMI was too high. So 2 years later, I lost the weight and I was like, okay, I'm ready. And so that's what then I was like, let's do it. Honestly, no, I had no apprehension, no worries whatsoever. Pregnancy for me is very easy. So I don't know, maybe I was naive. I don't know. I was very excited. And thank goodness my first journey went great and first transfer, everything stuck. So it was amazing. So yeah, so with surrogacy in the States, we do have a very thorough legal process. So we have contracts that we sign that state everything exact of what to expect. And if something were to come up, medical with either baby or me, that there's and even the parents, if they were to pass away or things like that, we have exactly what needs to be done. They also have pre-birth orders done before the babies are born so that when the baby is born, everyone at the hospital knows that the baby is not the surrogates. The baby belongs to the intended parents. So it's very, very smooth. And it's great, especially working with the agency Surrogate First, because they make everything seamless. It's amazing. So yes, before signing the contract with the parents, you obviously have to get matched and medically cleared before you get to the legal part. So you have to make sure that both parties agree on the connection, as well as the surrogate needs to make sure that their body is capable to be a surrogate. So we have to do those 2 steps. And then once those are complete, then that's when you can start the legal process. So throughout the journey, through like all of my medical care that I was getting, it was great. Even though they knew that it was not my baby, they always asked, like, what do you feel comfortable with doing? I always, because from the get-go, you always say, like, this is what I would want to do. And so my personal journey, I said it's whatever the parents want. If I have to get extra testing, if I have to do this or that, it was okay. We agreed upon that at the beginning. Some journeys may be different. It just depends on what you guys agree on. But with me, it was great. And they were very respectful. So during the legal process, the attorney that I worked with, she contacted me once she got the contract from the intended parents. And she kind of went over it with me and let me know if there was any spots that didn't seem normal or if there was any spots that needed, adjusted. And then she asked me once we went through it, if there was anything I wanted to add or take away, which then we would put, our little revision in there. And then we sent it back to the IPs and then they would read it over with their lawyer. And then once we came to an agreement, then we would officially sign it. So it can take, up to a couple months, depending on how quickly you guys have come to an agreement. Or it can be super fast. It just depends on what you want and how fast you can move. Yes. So the attorneys that I was with for my past 3 journeys, or they always had the surrogate in mind. They always made sure that if something were to happen to me, that I would be covered. One thing specifically that I remember with my first journey was the life insurance policy. So in the contract, there is a life insurance policy for the surrogate in case something were to happen throughout the pregnancy or the labor. And she was very adamant that I upped my life insurance policy amount because I have kids of my own and things like that. So that was one thing that I specifically remember that I was like, she's got my back. So obviously I would have never met the couples that I was paired with unless I went through the agency of surrogate first. So obviously we wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Also, especially on my first journey, since I was so new to the surrogacy world, I wouldn't have known what to do, the steps to do, the order to do them in. So my case manager was amazing. She was on top of it, and she made sure that I understood what I had to do, when I had to do it by. And if there was ever a time where I was like, hold on, like this is too fast, she'd be like, okay, she'd talk me through it. Because sometimes through the process, it's like fast, 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 and then you sit and wait, and then it's fast, fast, fast. So it's kind of a crazy process. But the agency was great. They were there the whole time, answered all my questions, did a lot of educating for me specifically, just because I was new to the whole thing. So for the matching process, the agency would send me profiles of intended parents that looked like, we had the same values and would be a good match like personality wise. So then I would review the profile, and if I agreed, then I think that's when they would send my profile over to the intended parents. I believe that's the proper order. And then if they also agreed, then that's when we'd be like, okay, well, let's meet up, let's have a match meeting. So what we did is we had a Zoom meeting, since they're, totally different spots of the world, so that we could meet, and they would meet my family and my kids and my pets and everybody in the house. So it was great. And then we just they would answer questions if they had any, or ask any questions if they had any about like why I'm doing surrogacy or what my thoughts are on it. And they even asked my husband too, like, are you okay with this? Stuff like that. But it was good. So the role of the doctors during the actual journey they medically clear you at first. So it's, up to their standards of their clinic. Once you're medically cleared, and you go through legal, that's when you'll start medications. So they will prescribe all of the fertility medications that I would need to take to get my body ready for the transfer. And then once it's time for the transfer, they would be the ones that I would go to wherever they're located, wherever the embryos are, and I would get the embryo transfer done. So they're kind of the main beginning part of the whole process. But then after the transfer, that's when I would then come home and I would get monitored by a local fertility clinic. And then once I have reached, I think was it 10 weeks, 12 weeks? Once I'm cleared by them, I get to go to my normal OB. The clinic that I went to was the Fertility Center of Applied Genetics in Florida. Dr. Pavone and his team were amazing, especially as a first-time surrogate. They walked me through all of it step by step, very thorough, as well as like their medication regimen, because I had so many questions when it came to why am I taking these medicines and is there another way? They gave me the option of, instead of doing injections, of doing like a vaginal suppository. So I didn't have to give myself shots every day. And that was amazing. That was an amazing option. So with the embryo transfer, they actually give you a medication that kind of makes you a little like loopy. They give you Valium right before, which is fine. It's not like I was like crazy, but it definitely made it so I was more relaxed, which is the point. So during the actual transfer, it was very quick. Dr. Pabon had the embryo. It's like tiny, it was like in a little tube, and he made me confirm that it had the IP's name on it, which it did. And then we went into the room, and they had, all of the things, the monitors, and they went in with a little catheter and they implanted the embryo right in my uterus, right where it's supposed to go. And then that was it. They were like, you're free to walk around. I was afraid it was going to fall out, but they said it would not. And it was great. It was very quick, very simple. Oh, nothing more than just like a normal pap smear. There was no pain whatsoever. It was just very minimal. So yeah, throughout the whole process, obviously emotionally, it's a big change. And with the agency specifically, they were very, very helpful, mainly because a lot of the people on the team have personally been surrogates, so they've been through it. So they knew exactly how to answer the questions. They already knew before I knew how my emotions were going to be, just because they had been there. So they were great. One thing that I wish that fertility center specifically, I wish they would actually give me like a medication calendar. For some reason, that clinic does not, and I don't know why. Every other clinic does. So if they could change that, that'd be great. Yeah, they would just like tell me verbally, like they'd send me like an email saying, "Hey, take this med on this day and this med on this day." And I'd be like, "Can I just get like a calendar that has it all broken down?" And they never did. So I don't know. In the contract, there is a spot for psychological support in case of like a miscarriage or of anything were to happen to where personally didn't feel well, including after the pregnancy as well. There's that option that if I needed it, they would pay for it and all of that would be taken care of. Yeah, my first journey was for a couple in France. I do not speak French, so that was like my biggest worry was that like I couldn't communicate with them since I can only speak English. But luckily, they were very grateful and willing to translate. So one of the IPs, he could speak English pretty well. The other, not kind of, but not so much. And so it was like we did a lot of like Google Translate. But it worked out. It was fine. And so they're actually the ones that I will be caring for again here coming up. I'm on starting the beginning of my third journey. So yeah, so I'm excited for that. I less worry, obviously, because now I know that they can speak English better than I was expecting. And then my second journey was with a couple in California who spoke English. And so it was great because communication was so much easier. I was able to do like video chats while at the doctor's because of the time change. It was, only a couple hours as opposed to like a day. So that is one thing that kind of stunk with the international couple was for the fact that because of the time change, if I was at the doctor's, I couldn't FaceTime them and be like, "Oh, you're here with me." So I would have to take pictures or videos and then send it their way afterwards. I mean, well, it's not really funny, but I'm kind of jealous about it. So the French couple, because I had a daughter for the first round, and we still keep in touch, obviously. And so they'll send me pictures of them on vacation and on holiday. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, it must be nice. It's like I can't take this many vacations. So culturally, they're very lucky that they get to take off so much time and actually have like a life. We're here in the States. I definitely have a better personal connection with the French couple. I think mainly because they were my first journey, so we kind of like learned it together. So that's, one of the main reasons. And then just because I feel like I'm just like the aunt of the family, just helping them out. So it's great whenever they send me photos. It's my favorite forever. Yeah, I mean, the communication is great. Some people use WeChat or like an app to chat back and forth. We just use Facebook Messenger and it works great. So that's what we've been doing. So I'd say with the first group of intended parents, we keep in contact, I don't know, once a month, maybe every other month. More so now since we're starting the process of a second journey. But usually it's just like, oh, it's, birthday pictures, holiday pictures, little things like that. With my second set of IPs, we keep in touch mainly on like holidays and like birthdays and things like that. So not as close as the first, my first set of IPs. But yeah, we still keep in touch. I get to see the kiddos grow, which is like my favorite thing. So the first baby that I had, she's still young, 4, 3. She'll be 4 this year. So obviously, we don't really talk or anything, but I'll send her I'll sing happy birthday when I send her videos and things like that for her birthday. With my kiddos involved too, they sing with me. And so it's great. To me, it feels like I feel like an aunt. That's what I personally like. That's how I mentally feel for it. So I just feel like she's just like my little niece and I can spoil her and buy her gifts and things like that. Yeah, so definitely during the birth was when I felt like the most special connection, mainly because that was the first time I got to like actually see them in person. Because we did a whole bunch of communicating throughout the journey, via social media and whatnot, but we never actually got to physically meet. So like when they flew here, I picked them up from the airport and I took them to their apartment and all of that. But like just getting to see them in person and like hug them, it was the best feeling in the world because then it made me realize like it just put it all together, like it's happening. So it was great. That was my favorite part. Oh my God, the best thing in the world. So there's a picture, and it's my most favorite picture that I own from the delivery. Um, so it's me, obviously, on the bed. Um, Matthew, Edward, or the IPs are standing up by the head of the bed, and then my husband is standing right next to them, and like just the nurse took it, and so like the looks on their faces of like terror from the IPs and like oh my God, this is happening. And then like my husband having this look of like pure proud, like he's just so proud of this whole situation was like, I don't know, it's like my most favorite photo. I feel like I should share it with you. But but yeah, so that's like it just sums up the whole thing. It was great. So like I had said earlier, I had applied to be a surrogate and didn't make it because my BMI was too high. And then reapplied, a couple of years later once I lost the weight. And it was actually my husband who reminded me, like, hey, you've lost the weight. Like, is it still something you want to do? So I'm so glad that he reminded me because honestly, it was like, out of my mind. I was like, whatever, I lost the weight, whatever. So thank goodness my husband, he's like my biggest supporter. He was the one that reminded me to reapply and try it. So it was great. And then as for like my parents, of course, as a mother, she was like, "Are you sure it's what you want to do?" Typical mother. But yeah, I just, I educated her. I think a lot of it is just like educating because no one knows much about surrogacy. It's kind of like a taboo topic. And so I just, I told her like, yes, I'm safe. Like, yes, we do all the things that make it so that I'm okay. And so yeah, there's a lot of educating my parents and things like that. But then once I did, they were fine. For me, the part of when I was like, am I making the right decision was when it was like a couple weeks before we were getting ready to like have the birth. Because birth's no fun. Like I love being pregnant, carrying babies, great. But the actual birth process, not so fun. So like I was like, okay, like I had to keep talking myself into it. Like it's okay. I've done it how many times? It's just one more time. It's fine. But that was like the one time I'm like, what am I doing? Like when I was talking about the actual delivery, like every time I see that photo, I'm like, oh my God, like because of me, this family is able to grow and love and, do all the things that a family can do. And so, yeah. So every time I see that photo or anytime I just think of the babies, I'm just like, yeah, good job, me. Like, it's great. So I'm going to be honest with you. There are some women out there that do it for the money. I'm not going to lie. That's not my personal case, but there are women out there that, they're just like, oh, it's a quick buck. They don't have like the mental, physical connection with it. So for me personally, I obviously am not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I want to help build families. But yeah, that is a thing, unfortunately, that is out there. But hopefully the agency that you're with can hopefully kind of like vet them and sort them, get rid of them. So with surrogacy, I mean, yes, that's a lot of money that I'm given or that I am given to have a baby for somebody. It it was nice for us personally. We were able to save a lot of it and also pay off some debt and things like that we had. We were also able to take the family on, like we went to Walt Disney World, which is not cheap. So we were able to do some kind of expensive, family vacations, which was nice. Um, and we also, what was the other thing? Oh, we got a car. So, we didn't get crazy. We just did the basics. But yeah, so it's great. It helps out. Not only am I helping another family with helping them grow, but my family is able to also, reap the reward by the financial aspect of it. So in the US, with the compensation, it's all broken down in the contract, but we get like a monthly allowance that we get just while we're pregnant. We also get, depending on what our base compensation that we agree on at the beginning gets broken down into monthly payments. And so for, every month that I'm pregnant, I will be getting whatever percentage it is. So it's just like a constant inflow while you're pregnant. So it's all done through an escrow agency so that the money is already in there. So for the surrogate, it's great because we don't have to worry about if we're getting paid or not. It's already there. As long as we put in the request, it'll come back. So yeah. I would say it's all the compensation is pretty easy with the escrow um, agency. So I think the only time that I had an issue was it was me personally. I didn't understand I had to submit, I had to pay up front, then submit the receipt, then they would reimburse me. But that was just a me issue. I just didn't understand that was what I was supposed to do. So we figured it out. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I feel like if people are willing to pay, obviously there is a lot of risk with being a surrogate. I mean, it's my body. I could die. So, I mean, yeah, I guess more compensation would be beneficial, but me, I don't know, that's just not how my brain works. I'm not doing it for the money. So, I don't know. So, if you're interested in doing and having a surrogate in the States, I think that's a great idea. We here in the States, our medical teams, our education of all of our medical is great. You receive great care. Um, so I wouldn't worry about that aspect. The other thing is just, I don't know, I feel like the value of life here in the States, like the women that were going to be the surrogate are most likely living a very healthy and good lifestyle because here in the States, that's normal. So, for a successful surrogacy, I would suggest from the get-go understanding what your values are when it comes to termination and all of that. Because if from the get-go, if you're matched with somebody that has the same values as you, it'll make the whole process 100 times easier. Because then you won't have to deal with fighting and all of that. Also, understanding what you want to pay, because there are a lot of wide ranges of compensations for surrogates. So understand where your range is and be willing to wait, unfortunately, if you have, a specific range. So with communication with your surrogate in the States, definitely, I guess, I don't know, lay from the beginning, let them know, I want an update every week, or I want, fill me in if something happens. Just communicating and understanding what you're expecting from the journey is going to help if you just let them know from the get-go. Obviously, I mean, on the surrogate side, throughout the whole journey, it's, an emotional roller coaster. And I know on the other side as well, for the intended parents, it's just as crazy. So my biggest advice is to just take it day by day. Fertility and all of that stuff can change within a day, unfortunately. So you just have to take it day by day. And then also just trust your surrogate. They have already been vetted and, through the process, through the agency, they've already gone through it all. So only the good ones are there to choose from. So if you, just trust the surrogate because they're there for the right reasons. And they're going to do whatever they can to make it so that that baby grows and becomes part of your family. I mean, I feel like surrogacy should be legal across the nations, just because, everybody, if they want a child, should be able to have a child. And for the fact that it's illegal in France, breaks my heart. But I guess, I don't know. Hopefully it changes here in the next couple of years. I don't know. So as a surrogate, to summarize the whole process, the 3 words I would choose would be selfless, life-changing, and amazing. Right now, I'm saying no, that I wouldn't want to do another one in the future, only because this is my 3rd surrogacy journey, 5th birth altogether. And my kids are at an age where we want to go do things and have fun. But when I'm pregnant, I'm always very cautious because, it's not my child. And so I'm thinking because of that, I want to be able to, play with the kids and do all the things, go on the hikes, do all the things, go camping. So I think for now, I'm going to put it on hold after this journey. Well, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. It was great getting to answer these questions that Max gave me. Hopefully you learned a little bit about surrogacy here in the States and answered some of your questions you may have had.